Good evening, Nigeria. Good people, great nation. And welcome back after a short recess. I know you have missed your darling Crossfire for some time, but never mind. We are now back, better, sharper, deeper, and more straight to the point. What are those issues, political, social, economic, religious, or cultural, that has been bothering your mind? Every week, Crossfire brings them to the front burner to be discussed, analyzed, and most of the time, solutions profiled. That is exactly what we do on Crossfire. Mind you, you too can participate or make your own contribution by sending a text message to the number on the screen. Once again, thanks for being faithful to Crossfire. Now to tonight's business. Have you ever felt used, violated, defiled, abused, dumped, and frustrated? I hope you don't go through such experience. That is exactly how a rape victim feels. Close your eyes for a minute and imagine having a daughter that you have spent or invested everything on to prepare her for a bright future and a happy married life. And presto, from nowhere, someone grabbed her in an alley, raped her, and left her for dead. How would you feel? That precisely brings us to the topic for tonight. How should rapists be treated? A female lawmaker in Osun State recently advocated, though unofficially, for rapists to be castrated to deter them from such acts in future. And many people are coming out to support such extreme punishment. Cases of rape and gang rape are on the increase in most parts of the country, and this is giving parents some concern. The culprits include the high and mighty in society, students in higher institutions, and even secondary school pupils. A traditional ruler was recently charged for rape in Osun State, and there have been cases of detainees and prisoners being raped by police and prison officers. Should rapists be subjected to the extreme punishment of castration? Are rapists solely to blame for this crime? Can a man rape his own wife? And can a man be raped? These and many other questions are on the menu tonight. Good evening once again. This is Crossfire, and I am Banjo Abitogun. With me on the program tonight, I have a panel of discussants. Starting from the extreme right, I have Mr. Oladimeji Abitogun. Mr. Abitogun is a journalist and a publisher and an online news publisher. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
To his left, I have a barrister, a legal practitioner, barrister Taiwo Kayode. Like I said, he's a legal practitioner. He's also a journalist. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator.
And in the house tonight, I have Mrs. Lade Oludare. Mrs. Lade is a professional teacher. She's been a school principal for so long. Now she's the Tutor General in the Teaching Service Commission of Ondo State. You're welcome to the program, ma'am.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator.
And to my right here, I have a barrister, Thomas Bakare. Thomas Bakare is a legal practitioner. You're welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Straight to business. As usual, before we go to the question proper, let us have some questions to establish a base for this discussion. I will go to the barrister. In legal terms, Barrister Kayode, what is rape? And what is the difference between sexual assault and rape?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Well, rape is a social offense directed against human beings. Rape as an offense has been codified in our legal lexicon, both at municipal and international level. When you look at it at our municipal level, Section 357 of Criminal Code and Section 282, subsection 1 of Penal Code rightly defined what rape is. According to those sections of the law, rape means any person that has unlawful carnal knowledge of a woman or a girl with her consent or without her consent. And in such circumstances, if it is with her consent, whether that consent is obtained by fraud, by intimidation, by fear, or by any other prohibitive means, that is rape. And more importantly, we have to look at the criminal code and the penal code, because some days ago, I think the Attorney General of the Federation is of the view that there must be a kind of unification between criminal code and the penal code. When you look at the section very well, we have different punishment for the offense of rape in the criminal code and that of the penal code. In the criminal code, it is to the effect that life imprisonment for the person that has been sentenced or found guilty for the offense of rape.
Yeah, let's leave aside the punishment for a while and just talk about the definition.
Thank you, sir. And more importantly, when you are talking about rape, two things are very, very important for you to establish that rape had occurred. Number one is penetration. We call it res in re, that is the thing in thing. If you are able to establish that the thing is in the thing, that is the Latin.
Can you come out clearer, please?
Yes, sir. The thing in thing is to the effect that during the process of the rape, that the man is able to have even a slight penetration is sufficient to establish the offense of a rape. Okay. And that is what we said, res in re, that is the thing in thing. And another one that is very, very important is consent. Consent and submission must be distinguished in this particular reference. A lady or a woman can submit to the will of another person, but that is not sufficient or tantamount to consent. Okay. And this consent is very, very important. Is the consent by means of fraud, or the consent by the lady is it by fraud, intimidation, coercion, and a lot of means? Okay. If take for instance, a medical doctor, a pastor, or some other professions. Let us take the instance of a pastor who said that, well, by means of fraud, that I want to pray for you, or I want to do certain things. And in the process, he has carnal knowledge of that woman or that lady.
That might be a sort of Holy Ghost injunction.
It is by fraud, okay, and it amounts to rape. Okay. And a medical doctor that maybe he wants to, in certain instances, abortion is procured. Yeah. And he said, well, I want to do this thing. And in the process, fraudulently, he has an unlawful carnal knowledge of that woman or lady. It amounts to rape. Okay. So what is important is to the effect that the act must be unlawful, there must be penetration, and the consent can either be with the consent of the girl or without her consent.
Okay, then. Can anybody tell us more in a layman's language? Because the barrister has been talking too many technical terminologies. Yeah.
Maybe I can step in. To put it in the most ordinary form, having unlawful sexual intercourse with a woman or a girl without her consent is rape. I think that's the most basic form of definition. Okay. Like my fellow barrister said, there are instances where consent can be present, but the act can still amount to rape. And he has outlined all the instances. I don't want to go through all that again.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Beyond the issue of penetration, you also find...
Are you an expert on that issue?
Well, I'm a news reporter, and we have had several perspectives and angles to this shameful, degradable conduct, not just on the part of men who, to quote Yoruba popular saying, Alagbara Mamiru Baba Ole, they want to establish their martial, they want to say they are strong, but I don't know how you prove that you are strong by holding down a minor or an unwilling woman or a man. In the case of those who swing to the extreme, concerning...
We'll come to that later.
Yes, homosexuality. Yeah. Now, penetration doesn't necessarily have to take place, like the law puts it, because it's always torturous for the victim of rape to go to court, make a graphic presentation, and going through the process of convincing the judge that this actually took place. It doesn't necessarily have to go that far. You see men who travel in public transport easily. They feign that they are tired, they are sleeping, they rest their head on the breast of an unwilling woman.
Yeah, but that's not rape.
It is.
It's not.
No,
It's not.
Sexual assault, rape. That's why I was asking the barrister to differentiate between sexual assault and rape.
It's not. It's what he has said is not rape. In fact, for penetration, we have judicial pronouncement. Insertion is not even penetration, but we have judicial pronunciation that insertion is not even penetration, but penetration is slight penetration. Slight. That is what I said.
Okay. I want to say, in case of a minor, there might not be any penetration, but there will be bruises on the vagina of the minor.
The fact that we have bruises or what is not sufficient to convict a person that there is penetration. We have judicial pronouncement in respect of it.
All this.
And
when we have the sperm and the bruises, there's an act of rape.
Let me just quickly add.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But I think one of the challenges that we have currently with the present framework within the criminal code for rape is that the law is outdated. And the definition of rape is too narrow. As my friend, the journalist, was saying, what he described would not amount to rape under current law.
By
for
law.
their,
but
sorry,
for the woman who breasts
I understand. I'm talking about illegal.
That you are fiddling my nipple.
I understand. I'm talking about.
We are talking about penetration.
I'm talking
about penetration.
Rape
what the law says about penetration.
For there to be rape, one, as my fellow barrister said, there must be sexual intercourse, penetration.
Yeah.
Two, there must have been lack of consent on the part of the victim. Those two are the key constituents of rape.
Okay, we are not in a law court now, so we are not trying the case of rape.
No, not at all.
Okay, but let's go to the woman in the house. What effect does rape have on its victim?
I think rape has multifarious effect on the victim. One is the lady who feels dishonored. Then the psychological effect, that is long time effect, especially even when he's married. The woman becomes rigid, and might want be easily accessible even by her husband, because it will keep on, it will be a recurring factor on the side of the woman. The trauma, then shame. And most of the time, the woman may not even be able to speak out because of the perception of people around that this lady has been raped. And this, we must tell our women that when you are raped, there's a lot that you stand to gain if you let people know. And again, aside from the psychological effect, the shame, the dishonor, the way people will see you as somebody who has been raped, what about the health-wise? Somebody who has been raped, maybe by somebody with HIV or with syphilis or gonorrhea, so it stands a lot of bad effect on the health. Maybe the woman may not be able to have maybe children in future, maybe if he has contacted gonorrhea and she didn't, she refused to tell or go to seek medical assistance, or HIV, which is cannot be cured, but has to live with HIV for life, or so many other things.
Or even pregnancy.
Even pregnancy, and if you attempt to remove the pregnancy, you may have tampered with the womb and may not be able to have children too. Then the psychological effect, even is more than the social effect, because even when you are married, when your husband wants to come to you, you will be imagining that that thing that happened to you maybe when you were young, and you may be rigid, your husband may not enjoy you, He may not be able to relax. So, and will be, even his perception about men generally will change. So rape is not good for anybody, not a man or a woman.
Okay.
So I believe it shouldn't even happen. And I believe rape is, I would term them as mentally deranged people, that they are not sound.
A form of sickness.
It's a form of sickness, and I think it's a madman that should rape.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Barrister Bakare, we are talking of penetration here and so many other things. But can a man be raped?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A man can be raped. There are people whose sexual disposition is towards same sex. So if you would expect that you can have a man-woman rape scenario, then you should also expect that it can be a man-man rape scenario or even a woman-woman rape scenario. Unfortunately,
no, come again. Woman. How is that possible when you're talking of penetration?
No, I'm just talking generally.
Okay.
I want to qualify now.
Okay then.
Unfortunately, under Nigerian law, Nigerian rape law does not recognize a male rape scenario, because the definition of rape is so narrow that it only contemplates the idea of a rape on a woman. So that's one of the shortcomings of the current rape law in Nigeria. But outside in the US, in the UK, you have a recognition of the fact that a man can rape a woman. Can rape a man, and I think that's one of the things that we need to change about the rape law in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because it's a reality. Men do rape men.
Okay. You want to come in there?
Yes.
Okay.
To contribute to what my learned colleague said, well, if you look at our law very well, as you have said, when you look at the definition of rape in accordance with penal code or criminal code, well, between man and man, there may not be rape. But if you look at section 7 of the criminal code, that is parties to offense, technically or logically, there can be rape between man, because first offender, second offender, or if you hate another person to conduct that act, that means you have done it. We have a case whereby a man called 3 of his friends to come and rape his wife, and he told them ab initio that if she resisted, that it doesn't mean that that resistance means that she is not consenting. So by that judicial pronouncement and by virtue of section 7 of the criminal code, it looks at the implication that there can be rape between man and man, because a party to an offense equally asks a punishment for what he has done. If he aids the act of rape or abet the offense of rape.
Can I just clarify? Okay. That doesn't in any way, like the scenario of the man that invited his friend. In fact, that actually happened. That didn't happen in Nigeria. Yeah. That happened abroad. But that scenario does not support the view that the current law in Nigeria contemplates a male-male rape scenario. What you have is somebody has invited a couple of friends to come and rape his wife, and given them indication that if she refuses, they shouldn't yield to that, because she might just be wavering. Sometimes
when she says no, she means yes.
Yeah, so in that case, the rape there is on a woman, it's still not on a man. Okay. But the key issue is the criminal code, the criminal code still makes a provision for the prosecution of a perpetrator of a male-on-male sexual assault. Yeah. It's called indecent sexual assault with intent to commit unnatural act. But the sad truth is that doesn't carry the same weight as rape in terms of sentencing and
other. But I believe a man can rape another man.
Absolutely.
Like these homosexuals, maybe a younger, a teenager, an elderly person trying to force his thing into the anal part of the younger person. That is without his consent.
Okay. But the question really is, can a woman rape a man?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
A woman
when
raping
2
a
or
man?
3 women
we
forcefully
to corroborate what he has said, even in Nigeria, we have a judicial pronouncement. I think it is in Nigerian Armed Forces. A colonel or army invited a junior one, and they are true homosexual, and there was a conviction. And in terms of homosexual, as my learned colleague has said, that section 7 looks at whoever aids, or maybe you are part of the person that commits that offense. On the long run, maybe the sentencing that may be given to you may not be as that of the person who actually committed that offense. But one way or the other, by virtue of that section 7, that person will equally be involved in whatever happened there.
Okay.
Yes, let me make this observation, that beyond our colonial legal heritage, which they describe as being narrow in its reach and scope in this country, a matter was determined by an Abuja court like 2 months ago. The matter of a Nigerian film actor who had the unlawful carnal knowledge of another person. It was an homosexual conduct. But what the man said was that, he was drunk before he went to bed, and then he fell